What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we have another episode of my hot takes. You know the drill. You guys send over some of your hot takes and I react to it. Anyways, let's get right into the first one, which comes from HAMD, and he says people wanted CM Punk to return so bad, and now Punk isn't even the most major reason people tune into AEW. FTR and MJF are carrying AEW, and I think that's straight up wrong. I don't know why, but the IWC do this thing where they kind of turn on people the minute they come back or the minute they get a push, and the same thing is happening to CM Punk, because this isn't the only hot take where I saw this. I saw other people saying that he was burying all the talent or that his run has been boring, and I just don't understand that whatsoever. A lot of people are trying to take CM Punk's return and make it look like a failure, and I just don't think that's true whatsoever. CM Punk's return to AEW has been a lot of fun, and I'm not saying this is the majority of people, but I do see a small portion of people commenting these kinds of things. I just think it's wrong. If that's what you believe, that's fine, but I'm gonna disagree. I think that CM Punk is a major reason people watch AEW, and he's definitely a part of MJF and FTR when carrying the company and all the other acts. The next hot take says that if Logan Paul becomes an active competitor, he would be one of the best celebrity wrestlers. I can see him going for the US or IC championship, and I'm going to be 100% real with you guys. If Logan Paul is an active wrestler in the WWE, he should become the WWE champion. I don't care what anyone says. I know it sounds crazy. I know a lot of you think I'm a lunatic right now, but Logan Paul should be the WWE champion if he is an active wrestler after like maybe 6 or 7 months on the main roster. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying if that does happen, you should definitely give him the title, because first off, he would be a credible champion because the guy is huge and could actually kick a lot of ass, because he was a boxer. He did box Floyd Mayweather and other people, and also he was an amateur wrestler, so you could believe him being a champion, and that would be great for the mainstream media. With WWE, they would get a lot of attention, so it's not a bad idea. I would push for it. Charlie says that Cody Rhodes is honestly one of the GOATs. How he reinvented himself on the indies, literally created AEW, and he has now gone back to WWE. His journey is fascinating, and I would not consider him a GOAT, because to be in that category, you got to do a lot of things. You have to have a great impact in the business, and I just don't think Cody Rhodes has that much of an impact. Like, yes, he does have somewhat of an impact when it comes to AEW and creating an alternative product and giving the wrestlers another place to work at, but I don't think he is a GOAT in the business just yet. That could change depending on what happens next in his career. We will have to wait and see, but as of right now, Charlie, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Jordan says that Randy Orton is the #1 wrestler of our generation. The Legend Killer, the Viper, and now RK Bro have all went over. It is a combination of longevity, character development, feuds, and putting over other guys and championships for me. And I'm going to have to agree with Jordan. I actually think that you can make the case and say that Randy Orton is the greatest wrestler of all time in any generation. And I think a lot of people will believe that by the end of his career, but right now I see it. I think this Randy Orton, what he's accomplished in the last 20 years has been a lot. I think he's done so much. I think he understands the art of pro wrestling, and I think Orton might be the GOAT of wrestling, but that is a video for another day. It's going to come out soon. Don't worry, guys. BHS Rank says that Roman Reigns matches are starting to get boring and predictable, and I don't agree. I think it was honestly just the match with Brock Lesnar. I don't know why, but Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns either have a lot of chemistry together in a match, or they're straight up boring, and unfortunately some of their last matches were kind of boring, including that WrestleMania match. It just wasn't, it didn't live up to the hype. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think if you put Roman Reigns with someone like Finn Balor, or even John Cena from last year, or Edge, Daniel Bryan, he put on a lot of bangers. I think he just needs to get the right opponents, and I think Drew McIntyre is perfect for that job. My Ink says that the current US title is the best US title of all time, and it is not appreciated enough. And I'm just going to assume that you mean the design, and if you do mean the design, I agree with you. It is definitely the best looking design. For some reason, some people like the old US title, but I thought that was hideous. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, it was never that great of a championship design, and I think the current US title is the best looking title right now in all of WWE, and I really mean that. It looks sexy, if we're being completely real. Yan Brown says that Asuka will retire as one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. And yeah, that's not really a hot take. I don't think she is going to be the GOAT, but she's definitely going to be one of the best ever lace-up boots. I think Asuka has had a great career in WWE and even prior to WWE. Asuka is just one of those people that brings so much to the table. You gotta love her. Michael said that people need to stop complaining about Balor losing. Look at Johnny Gargano when he was losing a lot and then he won the North American title and the NXT title. Balor constantly losing could lead to something bigger. Let's be real. I'm a Balor fan. I love the guy. I absolutely adore him. I want him to get a push, but it's never going to happen. I know you say that it might happen. It could lead to something bigger, but it's just not. The WWE does not care about Finn Balor. It's unfortunate, and hopefully it does change, but I just don't think that's realistic. So I'm sorry, Michael. I'm going to have to disagree with you. Let's hope that you are right, and I can come back to say this, and I can come back to this comment and say that I was wrong. I would love for that to happen. This is a long hot take, and they say I can't help but feel that everyone has taken the mid-card scene for granted. In recent years, so many fans and wrestlers alike seem to have treated the mid-card as a low spot. There is no need to make every single wrestler into world champions. That's what makes the main event scene so prestigious. It's the fact that very few greats get to be world champions. Don't get me wrong, I'm a stickler for younger new talents. I think everyone deserves a chance to make it in this business, but there are some guys who deserve it more than others, and it's just not for everyone. For instance, in my opinion, Scott Hall, Roddy Piper, and Ricky Steamboat are three of the greatest mid-carders to ever lace up a pair of boots, and that shouldn't even be a bad thing. They made the IC Championship really worth something fighting for, rather than treating it just as a stepping stone. The fact that they were never world champions is kind of a blessing in disguise if you ask me, and I mean that in no disrespect to them. Even the Attitude Era, almost every other mid-carder at the time was over as hell. Today, the business is in desperate need of some good career mid-carders, and we shouldn't be treating it so much like a curse. That is the bottom line. And honestly, there is nothing else to add. This guy gave us an entire 5-paragraph essay, a thesis and everything. The supporting evidence was there, and they are spot on. The mid-card deserves some love. Rashino says that Logan and Jake Paul should be in the WWE. Their personalities as a heel tag team would go hard, in my opinion. They just get it. And if Logan Paul does come back in WWE and doesn't win the championship, and if he's not an active wrestler, I would love it for him to win the tag team championships and have like a 2 or 3 month reign with his brother. Logan and Jake Paul would be the most hated tag team of all time. That I would love it. I need to see it, and I would be down for it. Heck, I would even be down to see them beat RK Bro. Just imagine the heat they would get if they beat Randy Orton and Matt Riddle for those tag titles. That would be a ton of heat. Moxie BBX says that Shawn Michaels is the most influential wrestler there has ever been, and I disagree. I don't think he's the most influential wrestler. I think Ric Flair's up there. I think you have John Cena, you have The Undertaker, and Shawn Michaels is definitely there, but not the most influential. He's in the top 10 maybe, but not the most. So sorry, Moxie, I gotta disagree with that one. And the last hot take comes from Chris, and he says that Edge's faction probably won't last. And sooner or later, and I mean in like a couple of months, Edge is probably going to go back to being a face again, and Damian Priest will go back to being confusing. I find that to be funny because the whole Damian Priest part was just super funny, but I don't think this is going to happen. I think that WWE is going to invest in this storyline for at least a year, and I could see it going places if they do try. I'm excited. I want to see more members added to it, but you know what, Chris, you might be right. Maybe WWE is just like, this isn't the best storyline. Let's just cut it, and they've done that in the past, so it could happen. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next video.